Title: Park your BMW like a prick. Well, two can play that game. Being a BMW owner, one of the things that irk me are others giving us a bad name. Sure, I enjoy an active driving style, but I use my blinkers and try not to park like a douche. Well, I normally try not to park like a douche. Drove down into the parking basement at work and noticed there was an available spot that most had given up on due to the parking of the BMW X3 in the next slot over. Well, should be more than enough room for a 5 Series next to it, right? I got in just fine, but was too close to the concrete pillar to walk out comfortably. I'd have to squeeze past it. Sod that. Repositioned closer to the X3, and had all the space I wanted to get out. Left a nice margin to the parking line too. Sadly for the X3 driver, that didn't leave much space for him, petty, but I enjoyed it. And #X200B, edit. Since the questions keep coming up, what if the person in the X3 was forced to park like that because someone parked like an asshole in the other slot and then left? Well, this is a company car park early in the morning when everyone is arriving for work. No one has left yet at the time I parked. Did anything bad happen? No, I had to work late and by the time I got out the X3 was gone. No new dents or scratches on my car. Title: Please don't park in my driveway. I live next door to an apartment building and where their parking lot ends and my driveway starts there are concrete slabs to show where one ends and the other starts. I even have a sign at the end of the driveway saying, private parking. Not apartment parking. There is lots of room for all tenants and their visitors so they don't need to park on my property at all. I called the apartment building landlord and complained a few times because people parking in my yard. He said he has sign all around the building where people can park. Visitor parking and tenant parking. Which he does. He said if they park on my property to call a tow company. I woke up one morning to go to work and couldn't get out because some jack mule had parked in my driveway. I called a towing company from a totally different city about 3 hours away. I couldn't wait for them because of work but asked if they would call when they were all hooked up and I will come home to make sure it's done. I only lived 5 minutes from work and my boss allowed me to go take care of this. When I got home the car was already loaded onto a flatbed and was just pulling out when the owner of the car came running out hollering for the truck to stop. He didn't. Then the guy looked at me and was very hostile and said, "This is all your fault. You will be paying to get my car back." I just laughed at him and pointed at my signs saying no parking or vehicle will be towed at owner's expense. I had already called the police as well to see if I could do it legally and they told me since I have had signage up for over a year that nothing can be done against me. I told the guy where he can get his car back and was pissed to say the least. I backed out and went back to work. After work the landlord came to see me. He said the guy tried to complain to him and telling him it will either be one of us or both but someone will be paying to get his car back. He was told the tow charge alone was around $800 because of the distance and $150 a day storage until it is picked up. I know he got his car back because I saw it parked in the visitor parking a couple of days later. It is funny how after this happened I have not had another person park in my driveway again. Title: Speakerphone in public? Well, now we all know. I'd gone to the grocery store for some items, and there was a young woman in the produce section holding her phone up flat and using the speaker option. In public. This is one of my pet peeves. Don't use a speakerphone in public. Nobody wants to hear about how that one-night stand guy gave you herpes. Which is of course what she was talking about. Loudly. Ranting, even. I got my supplies, and headed for the register. She got in line right behind me. Title: Can't wait your turn for laundry? Enjoy wet clothes. I'm currently in college. We have a laundry room with 10 or so washers and dryers. One of my biggest annoyances is when people move other people's stuff out of the washer, dryer to put their stuff in. Now I get it if someone has left their stuff in for an extended period of time and hasn't gotten it out, but other than that I see no reason someone should touch another person's clothes. So today I had my laundry in the dryer, and I always set a timer on my watch to make sure I get my stuff before someone takes matters into their own hands. So today I had my stuff in the dryer and my timer went off to signal to me that my stuff was done. It took me literally 2 minutes to get from my dorm room to the dryer, and go figure, someone had somehow already moved my shit out of the dryer and straight onto the damn floor. This person had to have literally moved my stuff out as soon as the dryer finished to have done it that fast. Needless to say, I was annoyed that my clean clothes were dumped on the dirty floor. Normally I would just move on with my day with this minor annoyance, but I thought of a nice easy way to get them back without putting much effort in. Title: Steal My Yard Sign. Awaken the Yard Sign Hydra. I live in a house divided, so we have a yard sign for each of the 2 major presidential candidates. I went to a friend's place for a socially distant Labor Day weekend. I came home to find my yard sign missing and the opponent's sign still standing. Title: I scolded my dogs at 2 a.m. really loudly and made my neighbors uncomfortable. I am partially deaf on the left side, so I'm less sensitive to noise than the average person. The husband and I live in a nice neighborhood which is relatively noise-free, trouble-free. We have a lot of animals, but only the dogs are relevant to the story. Just last month we had a new family move in next door. No big deal. Except they have parties several times per week that begin after midnight. And their parties are held exclusively in their backyard, which is separated from ours by a fence. They smoke and have lively conversations, and the smell and noise seep into our living room when we're trying to watch TV. I hear their conversations over the audio emanating from the TV, which makes it very difficult to get some sleep after midnight should we choose to turn in. I have never known people to be this loud during conversations, so this is brand new to me. I imagine I hear no more than 7 different voices at a time. They all talk over each other and laugh out loud, as if they're having a contest for who can make the most noise. Here's where our dogs come in: they hate it, get extremely agitated. And we have to let them go potty in the backyard before bed. What do? They run to that side of the fence and bark. So I've been micromanaging the dogs the last month to keep them quiet. Until last night. I was growing extremely frustrated being unable to enjoy Criminal Minds at midnight. Husband and I are both non-confrontational, but my patience was wearing thin. It was 2 a.m. and I was ready to sleep. Husband had to wake up in 4 hours. So I let 2 of the dogs out and let them bark at our neighbors for a minute. The neighbors weren't fazed and they just talked louder. It was 2 a.m. and I was ready to sleep. What do? I get as close to the fence as I possibly could and yelled as loudly as possible while my dogs stayed behind me, and I have a megaphone loud voice. I'm going to paraphrase. Greater than, Lily, how many times do I need to tell you not to bark? You stupid B word, it's 2 effin' a.m. and you're being bad. Lily, I am so effin' tired of your misbehavior and you're grounded. You're going to disturb our neighbors who have to go to work in the morning and they will complain. I will call animal control on you. Go back inside. The atmosphere suddenly changed and everything went dead silent for a little while. The neighbors resumed their conversation, but they toned it down significantly and we were able to get some sleep. Lily got a treat and lots of cuddles after. I am not convinced the neighbors are going to refrain from being loud tomorrow night again, but I may have to pretend yell at my dogs some more.